Hello. And
Hello.
I'm quickly looking down just to make sure. Yep, that's you on the desktop audio. That's me on the
Yay,
microphone.
I'm audible.
Good. No, that's a different thing. That's a rival.
Different streaming platform. Yes,
Yeah,
no, bad.
that's fine if you enjoy Audible or any other. Like, yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this.
I love the fact that the intro for this has just got less and less official.
Yeah, I mean, I've got
Every time it's like, welcome to our book club maybe stream, welcome to Chilliteratea, and now it's just welcome to this.
the high. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got my one that I do for reading streams, but
Oh yeah, that's true.
that's
As have I. Now,
yeah.
apparently Happy
right.
Wednesday's a thing.
Oh right, okay, nice.
Yeah, I say
All
Happy
right.
Wednesday every time.
Works, sure.
Which I started doing and realised, oh, I guess I'm just doing that now.
Cool. All right. I mean, that's how catchphrases work. You just sort of fall into them and go, "Oh, I guess it's a thing," like they say. Unless you get annoyed by it and realise that it's just a habitual word or phrase that you throw into everything, even when it's not wanted, and then you're like, "Oh, I catch myself doing that. Well, guess I've got to stop that now."
Yeah. Salad's art critiquing us already, saying we both have very baroque lighting.
Hey, so with the resub, thank
like
you.
Blue and gold. Blimey.
Yeah,
14 months.
That's
Thank you so much. Also, hello everybody.
yeah, indeed.
Sorry, I realised we didn't actually say
Right,
hi.
that's okay. Order
Let's
of
start again.
things. Yeah. Hello, everyone. How
Hi.
are you all doing? It's good to see you. Apparently, we're looking snazzy. Good. I'm wearing my from Monster Brand, a now defunct store that made cool licensed clothing for video games. This is a Halo hoodie that they made, which I really like because where is it? It's sort of asymmetrical. Oh no, it's this side. Yeah, it's sort of got like a little clip that you can do up there, which I like.
It's a very cool hoodie.
It's just like a sort of hoodie cardigan thing.
Very warm as well.
It's very warm. That's why I'm wearing it. Ooh,
Andy,
Andy,
thank
also
you.
with the resub. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Oh, I see. You're going for the wizard look.
Well, briefly,
Hood.
just to demonstrate how a hood works for those that may not know. But no, it's a bit too much. Because in order for me to wear a hood, I need to take the headphones off and put them over the hood, which is fine, but I'm not doing it. It is very comfy. Although the problem is because it's knitted, Joey loves it and loves pulling threads out of it. So
Yeah.
as he's done on this sleeve here. So yeah. Where are we? Right. Also, well, on the Baroque lighting, mine is literally just, it's like an IKEA very cheap posable light. It's just a flexible stick with a
Very
light bulb
bright,
on the end. It's real bright. It actually, like,
Quite impressive.
it's because I have it on me as well for D&D. And it genuinely leaves me feeling like I've got eye problems because it just slightly dazzles off, I guess, my eyelashes or something. And it's like, it's fine for a little bit, but after about 3 to 4 hours,
Long eyelash problems.
yeah, just pretty boy problems.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to go with giraffe problems, but yeah, that works too.
Yeah, long luxurious eyelashes like a horse. What else are we saying? Sil, you just had your gay little heart messed with by the latest episode of Last of Us, so now you're down a pint of Oreo ice cream layout. Oh, fair enough.
Ooh, Oreo ice cream sounds
Nice, yeah. Are you spotting Joey in the background? You are. He is asleep on the other pillow.
good. Yeah. Which apparently is just where he sleeps now.
When he is not demanding to be on my lap and scratching me until he can.
Yeah. You're still wearing your ski suit from the 80s. You mean you haven't stopped wearing it since the 80s?
Blimey.
That sounds like a commitment.
Yeah.
Someone could do some Conjuring Summer and that would be great. Yeah, I've been feeling that the last few days. Just like, I want a holiday already.
I would welcome some summer, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a meh job interview. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, boo.
Oh.
Well, I hope ice cream helps and that we can help and Elder Scrolls Online helps.
Yeah, indeed.
All of those things.
Yeah, I still keep meaning. I mean, if it didn't take like what I think somewhere around 80 gigs of drive space, I would probably have downloaded and tried it again by now because we both have a copy.
Oh, download. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been meaning to have it as another thing.
Oh, you just froze for a sec, but that's fine.
Did I?
Yep.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's I've sort of been getting that urge to 110. Oh, good. Yeah, there's a lot of large games around. But yeah, I've been getting that kind of MMO urge again to like pick up something. Although there's a whole new Destiny expansion coming out in a couple of weeks, so
True.
that'll probably keep me busy.
Also, happy birthday for tomorrow, Andy.
Oh, hell yeah. Congratulations.
Have a good one. You have spent today on the couch watching YouTube and playing Slay the Spire. That sounds like a good time.
Thoroughly approve. Yeah.
Yeah.
I too had a birthday just recently.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
And spent the entire day playing Magic.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 40 now, so sorry everyone. That means I need to get off the internet. I'm an old man.
He is now an old man.
Yeah.
Now you are legally obligated to complain about your back every 3 seconds.
Oh, since 30, I could have been doing that.
I was just going to say, actually, you do that regularly anyway.
Yeah,
what am I saying?
Yeah. You saw my mum briefly dox. Yeah, I know. It's like, to her, it's like, oh, it's just a silly joke, but please, maybe don't actually tell everyone my birthday and know that if someone asked you, would tell them all the names of my pets, where I was born, time, favourite teacher from school, the colour of my first car. I don't drive, is the joke there.
Invisible.
Yeah. That may actually be an answer I put in for something. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Oh, no.
No, I don't think it is.
Sounds like your kind of smart-ass answer.
Yeah. Your birthday is here falls on a stream, babe. Hey, nice.
Nice.
Hopefully it's not a
Is
stream
that
that we
one of
have
our
to cancel
streams or
for
one of
reasons.
John's streams? Oh, one of ours.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So Sil was going to say you're 35.
Yes.
Good job, Sil. The money's in the post.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't subscribe to the whole, oh, I'm still 20 kind of thing. Like, time happens. Yeah.
Yep, it does.
But I've definitely found 40 a much scarier number to go past than 30. 30, I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Spending today making bad art and ignoring the new semester about to start. Good.
Nice. Sounds like a good thing. But yeah, hope everybody is doing all right. And you would have been a week late for the TLJ stream, but it didn't happen anyway because they were on tour. Ah, right.
Fair enough.
One day, though. Yes, one day.
It's weird. I'm sitting here feeling like we should have music or something. I know we don't have music on these streams, but for some reason, like just at the back of my brain, I'm like, this is really quiet. I feel not quiet as in. I just feel like there should be something like filling out the background.
Chip tunes, no.
I could download Pretzel Rocks and have a look through there and find something
on
sometime
for the next one.
Yeah,
for the next
maybe
one. Maybe
chill beats to chat to. Yeah,
make something classical. Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah, public domain classical though it would have to be, and public domain classical that doesn't sound like ass.
Excuse me, have you met me?
I don't.
Have you seen any of my Spotify playlists?
Is it public domain?
Well, why wouldn't it be?
The performance isn't public domain, even if the composition is.
Oh, I guess.
That's the classic blunder that everyone falls into. Oh, it's classical, so therefore it's from like 400 years ago, so it's got to be available. Yeah, but it was recorded last month by.
Do you get DMCA stricken for?
Okay.
Classical stuff.
Think about this.
Yes. Okay. Fine.
Because I've complained to you enough about this. Not.
Oh, have you?
Not at you. Not as in it's your fault, but to you about the system whereby on Twitch and on YouTube we keep getting flagged up. The classical pieces that the classical pieces that we've done for the chiptunes. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not trying to like shame you or make you feel bad. Just like no. Literally. That is, I think, perhaps the second time today I've kind of done that to you, and I do apologise. I'm not. It's fine.
My brain is not here today.
That's okay.
My brain is currently running with what's it called? Dark Pit's theme from Mario Smash Bros.
Oh, okay.
Smash Bros running in my head because I had to do an arrangement of that for one of my pupils. So that's fun. It is literally the only way he will concentrate.
Cool.
So I did apologize to his mother. She's now going to have to deal with that.
And
but
as Josh,
it's really catchy.
Gonna say, as Josh has just said, you will also be falsely flagged anyways. Oh, that's exactly it. So the music that we have on this stream in the intro and in the break they are classical compositions that are in the public domain, but they were chip tuned, so to speak, by Lucy, who took the MIDI files and sort of reworked them with new instruments and stuff like that. So they are a unique original composition that was made
an arrangement
by her.
I've added notes in. We're taking notes out.
They are not anyone else's performance that is owned by anyone else. They are owned entirely by us. We still get flagged constantly on Twitch and on YouTube. On Twitch, at least, it's kind of okay to appeal. It's like you can go, like the appeal system is fine, and mostly it just they just drag their feet and kind of hang it out, or just never even check the message to say this has been contested, and eventually it expires and it goes, well, they never contested it, so there you go, you get to keep it. On YouTube, it's kind of okay, but if you're wrong, you get a strike against your channel, and if you get 3 strikes, your channel's gone. And we had one recently which I appealed, and because it's not, and I said it's not, it's ours, and they got back, they actually responded to it and said no, it's ours. And so it's like, oh, that's cool. I guess you can just do that, and there's no one actually checking.
Yeah.
And there's no kind of protection for you on that. So I guess it's like the videos get 5 views, so it's not like actually we're losing money or ad revenue on it or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's just
annoying.
As a small creator, it's just kind of garbage that you can just do that and effectively just be abused by the system, and people who just like blanket flag everything that's caught up as theirs and go, yep, that's mine, and like, well, I guess we have no comebacks for this.
Maybe when my album comes out, that should be just the only music we play.
And let's find out.
Hey, avant-garde trumpet stuff.
Let's find out who flags that up.
Yeah, quite. In theory, should be me. I own the recordings.
Who is this Lucy Humphries that keeps claiming all of it? Oh.
I know, right? Yeah, YouTube is stupid.
Yeah.
But you're irrationally angry about that.
Same.
Yeah. It's incredibly silly.
Yeah. And like, I mean, for both of us as well, with our proximity to the folk scene, I've seen it happen enough times with the Johns and Max Loy, Sharkfists, who,
oh yeah, of course,
if you follow them on Twitter, has like a big list of literally ancient classic tunes, like folk tunes, reels, other pieces and stuff like that, which are like, it could not be more in the public domain.
Yeah.
And them getting flagged up and claimed by the system and owned by this person. It's like, ridiculous. It's just not. Just like...
Yeah. Well, and also, it'll, like, Max will put their own spin, they will play something slightly differently because that's just folk music, especially fiddle folk music. Like, every fiddler does something slightly different with, like, what was I doing? That was not a fiddle. That's a flute, Lucy. It's also a backwards flute.
It's the most unique way to play the fiddle. You just toot into the F holes.
Yeah. Yep. I forgot what I was saying now, but anyway, yes, everyone plays stuff differently when it comes to folk music, so it's not. It's just silly. Very, very silly.
It's
bloody copyright issues. Stupid.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one's claimed anything of Dracula, actually, because
because what was it? Sorry, I just interrupted you. Carry on, please. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, because the sort of the Dracula universe, as it were, is so big, and lots of people have done so many different things with it.
Yeah.
That it strikes me as interesting that I'm going to say this, and then the next time you put a Dracula stream up on YouTube, it's going to be like, nope, sorry. That belongs to me.
Because what that reminded me of was literally the first thing we did, the yellow wallpaper, which did get claimed.
Oh yeah, that did get flagged. Yeah,
there was someone who'd done like their own kind of audiobook version of it and uploaded it to. It's on Spotify and other things as well, and that got flagged up as, oh, you've just uploaded this guy's copyrighted recording of the thing. Like, no, literally didn't. One, the book's in the public domain. Two, I'm not him, and I'm the one that read it. Please don't claim this. So yeah, it's cool, and that gave me a panic because like, oh, is this going to happen for every single thing? Because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff that's been audiobooks.
Yeah, it's not really something you want for the very first one.
No, unfortunately, I think that is actually the only time that happened. The rest of it's just all been the music.
Yeah. Please do not blow into the fiddle. It will not produce the sound you want or need. What you want is a very sad sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't tried blowing into a fiddle. Who knows?
I can't imagine there would be many that would be up for letting you do that.
I know one person. And that's because I lived with her for 3 years.
Oh, okay. I imagine even she would be too protective, but no, I guess not.
Depends. If it would be her violin, then she'd be up for it.
Oh,
if it's one of the many loaned ones.
If
that
it's
she
a
has had
rental
over the
that's
years,
worth about
then...
$400,000, then no.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, I'll be inventing a fiddle flute. Yep. It wouldn't make a sound. Well, you say it wouldn't make a sound, but it is an opening which, as a brass player, I can make a sound in, because I'm not a flute player and I don't breathe across things. I don't just go. I blow raspberries and stuff, so I technically would make a sound.
It might not be a very pleasant sound.
Oh no, absolutely
or
not.
Controllable sound.
No. But this is why you do not let brass players near hose pipes, wrapping paper tubes, any type of like hollow cylinder, including those biscuits you get. What?
Keep digging.
Shut up. Including, those biscuits, like the wafer ones that are cylindrical.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to play one of them.
Yep. Okay. Good.
I can't remember if I got the sound or if it just crumbled. I think it crumbled.
Probably. You just use them like a straw.
Yeah, them in hot chocolate.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, the one I learned was before anyone goes, oh, like a Tim Tam Slam. It really upsets me that Australia has claimed that. We'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
So Cadbury's fingers.
Yeah.
Have you ever bite the end off and slurp your tea or coffee through those? It's great. And then I learned to do that then with a penguin afterwards. Penguin, which is it's the UK's version of a Tim Tam.
Do that to penguins. This is cruelty to animals. We
no,
do
they're
not
fine.
Condone.
They wrap them in plastic and sell them in shops. It's fine. Sam's biscuit opinions.
Sam's biscuit opinions. Oh no, not biscuits. No.
What?
Just remembering the first time this biscuit argument happened in, I think, a John stream. And I think Diana just went off. It was great. And everybody was arguing with everybody else about biscuits and what are the best biscuits. And it got very heated.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just going to say...
obviously in a jokey way, but...
It's more like... For me, it's like a... It's weird... It's weird, like, exposure to... Well, like encountering the rest of the world, where you grow up here with, like, penguins and Kit Kats.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, like, get out into the wider world. And it's like, it's happened as, like... I know everyone's just gotten older and stuff, and... like being online and like a lot of the content that I consume is from like Canadian and American creators who have encountered Kit Kats via Japan. I don't like, and well, that's the thing.
Really?
It's always like, oh, I came back from Japan. I brought you all these different Kit Kats because they have manifold flavors and varieties.
Yeah.
And so it seems like to them, Kit Kat is an inherently Japanese thing. They're like, no, wait, we've been doing that for years. And likewise, going to Australia and coming back with, the Tim Tam Slam, it's a thing you do from Australia. Here, I've got a load of Tim Tams. And I'm here like, we have penguins. We've been doing that in the... over here. And, anything that makes the British Empire a bit smaller is good. But it's still like, oh, okay, I guess that's sure. Okay, Japan now has that's your sort of Kit Kats. We can send them too. They're not in like green tea and peach flavor and stuff. They're just chocolate.
I want to try green tea Kit Kat.
I'd give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray Tracer, hello, welcome in.
Greetings.
Japan does weird
you're
things
well.
with Kit Kats. Yeah, like I'd give them
Japan
a try.
does weird things with a lot of
Yeah.
confectionery.
Um,
Although traditional Japanese sweets are amazing.
my
Like sweets and puddings and just anything. Oh, so good.
see the thing that I had heard, which I've not had enough to kind of test and verify for myself, is that it's like a lot of Japanese, I guess, confectionery and stuff is more about texture than flavor. And I don't know how true that is.
Yeah,
As I say, as someone who's not.
Flavor's really good though. I've had a few. Well, I mean, obviously there's mochi,
Yeah.
and various subsets of.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a lot with like red bean paste and also chestnut, which is
right.
interesting because apparently France. I don't know why I've only just found this out recently, but apparently I don't understand. But France use chestnuts way more in especially sweet dishes and sweet
right.
things than we do over here. We've got masses of chestnuts over here, sweet chestnuts. Like,
Yeah.
why don't we use them in? Because we Brits don't tend to use chestnuts in anything but savoury dishes,
All right.
which is really
You just
strange.
keep them all for Christmas.
Well, basically,
Yeah.
I love chestnuts. They're great. Red bean paste, anything is very tasty. Yes. Yeah, it's so good. Eggnog the cookie in Desert Bus.
Oh wait. Was that one of the night
Eggnog cookie.
was that one of the Night Watch food, like the dump truck food things? I remember seeing something eggnog. Yeah.
Eggnog cookie is a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
I'll
I
stick
know
with
they
just
had
eggnog.
I know they had some pretty unpleasant looking things.
Cool.
I was something you ate a lot as a kid. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think
Unpleasant then.
Yeah, well, I said sorry, I didn't mean to say like that one looked fine. But there were some other things. There were like some, what was it, like some egg Pringles or something like that, or maybe not Pringles, but some other kind of crisps. And it's like,
Interesting.
no, I wouldn't eat egg crisps.
No, that is a bit strange.
Yeah, I mean, again, if that's your kind of jam, go for it. Not me.
You recall trying to make some chestnut dessert with your mum that used potato ricer to extrude. Blimey. Yes, I imagine that was. Well, I suppose they're quite like starchy because if you roast them and then squish them, then I suppose it's slightly easier. But they're not particularly. They can be quite dry, I guess. But I love chestnuts.
I just panic when I hear a potato ricer come up because they are such a faff to clean.
Oh yeah,
They're just
they are.
like them and potato mashers.
Yes.
It's just like, oh, there's so many little bits to get
Oh,
stuff.
potato mashes, just get a pipe cleaner. Just go through all the holes.
Yeah, but that takes. It's just like, it's so much effort.
Yeah.
For me.
Talk about music, make me think of a favourite classical guitar piece, and you had to dig through YouTube to find it. I'm going to guess, before you say what it is, I'm going to guess. Is it Concerto de Aranjuez by Rodrigo? Or literally anything? I'm assuming it's probably by I can speak, by Rodrigo. If it's not, awesome. Because usually Rodrigo wrote a lot of guitar stuff and tends to be the composer people hear most of. Anyway, sorry.
Fair enough.
What was it?
I was going to get back to Josh with it hecked you up for a bit encountering eggnog outside of the Philippines context. I'm going to assume that's kind of a slightly similar feeling for me, again, with like watching Desert Bus and LRR and Canadian content and stuff, while you look that up and listen to it.
Absolutely.
Where, again, watching LRR stuff, how not like a lot of them having, through, I guess, being Canadian and so therefore like the kind of the British colony connection, like referencing like TV shows that I would watch as a kid on UK TV. Well, talk about like, not like Monty Python, but like Blackadder, or I'm trying to think some other stuff. but stuff that never made it to America and sort of never hit those kind of shores. And then you've got Graham, who was actually born and raised, I think born, or at least raised in the UK. And again, there's an old watch and play where he's got a joke book, like an Usborne book of terrible jokes that he picks up from an Oxfam. And I was like, wait, that's a quintessentially British experience, buying a book from Oxfam, which is a charity shop here in the UK. And I don't know, just hearing that come out of the mouth of someone who's like not a British entertainer, it's like, wow, that's cool. So yeah, it's always fun and just slightly disorientating when someone well outside that circle goes, hey, I know that thing very well. Like, oh, that's really cool. Yes, anyway, sorry.
But yes, Lady Mephistopheles, I know that one too. I think, I know a few guitarists who've played it.
New game. Does Lucy know this piece?
No. No, don't do this to me. But yeah, it's really nice. The beginning of it reminds me ever so slightly of. Oh God, this is.
I realise I can't play it because I'll get muted.
No. Oh God, I can't. It's an album called Incantation, and it's basically Peruvian and Peruvian pipes, Andean pipes, not Peruvian pipes. And who's the band? I can't even remember. Maybe the band is Incantation. But anyway, it's really good and very folky, I guess, for their culture. And I remember listening to it when I was a kid, absolutely loving it. There's some bangers on there. More guitar. Ooh.
No.
Sorry. Wait.
No, that's fine.
What's this one?
I was going to say, for me, in terms of what I've been listening to lately, it's mainly been Aesop Rock, because someone, which probably was coming up, someone on the Easebridge Discord server shared Rings by him, which I'd like encountered Aesop Rock twice. It's rap for anyone that doesn't know. In the past with Winner Takes All, which got referenced on a stream I was watching years ago, and looked up, I was like, wow, this is pretty good. And then recently during Desert Bus, Kirby, which is literally just the guy rapping about his cat, which is really good. And then kind of it apparently it takes three things for me to go, oh, okay, fine, I'll actually give this a listen. And someone like Rings by Aesop Rock, and it's so good. It absolutely rules. I wish I could play it on stream, but no, not gonna do it.
Go listen to it.
Not to diverge too much from the topic, Josh, that is literally the stream. But getting blindsided by a Pinot reference on somewhere not Filipino is always a nice feeling. That's really cool. As I say, like that, not to be like, oh, my experience is the same. It's more like, I know that for me that feels nice, and so that's got to be like super rad. It's
always cool when you find that sort of
just having like a
groups
connection,
of people,
really,
groups of people or places online that you like. Somehow have a connection to what you know and what you're familiar with. Nice.
It's just in like some small way, like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen, going, "Oh, it's that meme."
It's that meme.
Yeah.
Everything has an appropriate meme.
Oh, the heating's coming on. Nice.
Hey.
Good.
Nice.
But
What? Love when you're all talking about music. Both have such interesting recommendations in the rest of the chat as well. Yay!
Hey. Well, thank you. Well. Opens up Spotify. What else can I recommend? No.
Oh, here we go. This is the problem.
Don't open the floodgates. I was going to say that the rest of what I've been listening to lately, I guess, is just mainly ambient electronic stuff. Oh, Pinoy. Sorry. Thank you, Josh. I realise actually, I think that's one that I've only ever seen written. I don't know that I've actually heard it said that much. So yeah, if I got it right that time, good. If not, feel free to correct me further. Thank you. There's.
He's now going to recommend his entire.
No, I'm not. I was just going to say No, it's Milieu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a guy who did the soundtrack for this game Euphoria many years ago. I got it? Nice, thank you. I will try to remember that because I'm super bad at remembering things. Yeah, he did the soundtrack for Euphoria years ago, and it's just very, very chilled. Like, I'm trying to think how to describe it other than just sort of synthy beats. But it's just extremely like a lot of it is just extremely like almost muted. It's there's a very specific texture to a lot of the stuff of his that I like, and I struggle to describe it, and so I'm trying not to struggle to describe it right now. It's very difficult. But yeah, it's just sort of chilled, floating. Yeah, just kind of looped
Ephemeral
synthy stuff. Yeah, and without sounding like a massive poser as well. I don't know. I'm just gonna link
just
to
vibes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna link to I guess the Euphoria album from Spotify. I'm just gonna stick that in chat if anyone is interested, and not accidentally click on a thing and start playing it. Because actually no, I'd be safe to play the Euphoria because it's from a game. Yeah, that's what you were just about to say. Sorry.
And also, well, I was also going to say that like one of the first things that that you linked me to was an entire Spotify playlist of, I don't know, just music I like.
Oh, my big Spotify playlist.
Your massive Spotify playlist. That, because I am a musician, and because when presented with music I must therefore listen to it, I listened to the entire thing.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise that was a curse. At the time,
No.
now I do.
Yeah. But I don't know how long it took me, but it took me a while. But yeah. So I is it 20 hours long? I don't know how long it is.
Oh,
I don't know.
It is long.
I was going to say it's probably longer than that.
Yeah.
But yeah. What I should have done is responded.
Actually, 18 hours 3 minutes.
Yeah. What I should have done is responded with like Messiaen's Tarangalila, which is 85 minutes long, and it's one symphony.
And it's named after a character from Futurama.
Yes. That's how that works.
This is how our dynamic works, by the way. Lucy comes in with like the classical reference, and I go, "Oh, that's from The Simpsons," or "Oh, that's from Futurama." Like, I guess, okay, Sam.
Yep. Also, hello, Sadobs. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry.
Welcome.
You like classical music? Classical music. What about you guys? You like it all? Well, we're literally talking about that. And as a classical musician, yes, I like it. It's a good dynamic to have. Yay! We are glad.
Yeah.
Very complimentary dynamic.
It works.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the Silent Monks do Hallelujah from Handel's Messiah? Oh yeah. Have I shown you? I must have shown you. If I haven't shown you, Sam, I'm going to show you after this because it is hilarious.
The other part of the dynamic is I send Lucy things, she watches or listens to them. She sends me things, and I go, yeah, sure, I'll check that out. And then
he doesn't. Yeah. And I feel very sad. I don't. It's fine.
Okay.
Welcome to the book stream where we talk music. Apparently so.
Oh, we'll get onto books in a bit. I've actually, for the first time, I think, since the video, been reading something for myself off stream. I've still not finished it because it's actually, by my standards, very long. But yeah.
Lady Mephistopheles has linked the Silent Monks.
Nice.
Yes.
It
is a
not
very,
click on it 'cause I don't
very
get
good
muted,
video.
but yeah.
It is. First time I watched it, I was absolutely in stitches. It was.
Okay.
It's just done so well. They are a classic indeed. And for anyone who wants, sorry, before we get onto books, the actual reason we're here. For anyone who likes that kind of thing, like silly music videos, silly videos of music, it's an overdub of it's a shreds, as they call it, of Zadok the priest, and I can't remember who did it, but it
The
is.
Champions League music.
I hate you sometimes.
Have we listened to Cabin Pressure?
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very yes. John Finnemore is the best person. We think he's great. And I play Yellow Car.
She does.
This is the Zadok the priest.
And I keep a list of now all the
You
time she
do.
points out a car. Just to confuse
Yes.
and annoy you, basically.
Yeah.
How much of the stream do we expect to be about book clubby things, and how much is pre-stream hangout? We kind of drift in and out. There is.
If MGN is anything, it's an air dot. You can't put one plane in a line. Sorry.
That's fine. Very good.
Sorry,
yeah,
carry on.
You. No, go for it. Please do. I was going to say, yeah, like, I mean, we tend to just cover whatever top. Like, there's never so far been any like plan or script coming into this. It's not like, okay, we're going to cover these topics. We've got a cool interview lined up. Thank you. If you like the stream, please listen to Casper Mattresses and click on their links. This has been brought to you by HelloFresh. Thank you very much. Goodbye. There's no planning or preparation or anything like that. We kind of just turn the cameras on and just sit and talk about whatever comes up. Most of the other ones have all been about the same subjects to varying lengths of...
In varying different degrees.
Yeah, degrees and intensity. I'll talk about films because that's kind of a bit more my background.
Sorry. Lady Mephistopheles, you need to stop because I will just start quoting it back at you, and then that's just going to be the entire stream. That is one of my particular favourites, that quote there.
Yeah. No, go for it.
Yeah. For reference, before you say anything else, Cabin Pressure was, I think, the first thing that we realised we had in common.
Probably yes.
I believe. I think you said something along the lines of, "Oh, by the way, have you heard of Cabin Pressure? Because it sounds like something you would like." And I think I responded with something along the lines of, "The lemon is in play," or something.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, we are both massive Cabin Pressure fans.
Yeah.
I have a little pin badge that says the Travelling Lemon World Championship that a friend of mine got me for my birthday many years ago. That's, Cabin Pressure's good.
Yeah. Agreed.
Anyway, sorry. You were carrying on.
I don't know. I can talk about
reading
books. You found your people? Yes, indeed. Welcome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been reading. As is my tradition, not like stretching out into new uncharted waters. It's sci-fi by an author that I've already read plenty of, Quantum, and it's called Ra. R-A.
Rawr.
And
Rawr.
Rawr.
It's about a T-Rex.
Tiger.
It's not about a T-Rex.
It's about magic, and
The Gathering.
no.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
It's fine. I've not finished it. I'm like 2/3 through. Just kind of slowly chipping my way through. But yeah, it's about well, I guess sort of where in the 70s magic was discovered, and it's sort of functional. It's basically studied as a new science, which is probably not highly original as premise, but it feels very, very thorough and very academic in its handling of like a scientific approach to magic and its use and its sort of practicality. Because I'm trying to think what it was in regards to. I think he was writing a bit about some of his other works, because he's got a short story collection which came out recently, and was very good. And sort of talking that what he tends to do is, you pick a point, pick a technology or some kind of premise that you want to talk about, and this will be what a lot of authors do, and then kind of walk it back to, okay, well, that's where I want to get to. How do I get to there? Like, what pieces actually need to be in place? What for it to actually be a functional premise, or not premise, I suppose, functional place on which to land, or a premise from which to start the story. How else do you what else needs to kind of fall into place to get to there? Tends to be how he approaches stuff, and that's where, like, the one that I've always referenced, Lena, the sort of Wikipedia article about
Oh yeah.
a human consciousness uploaded into, well, yeah, sort of transferred and uploaded and used for work, which is just a horror story.
Yep.
Yeah, sort of taking that and some of the other stuff. Yeah, it's really good. I can.
Quantum is a good author.
Yeah, write some really, and it's
Really interesting, thought-provoking stuff.
yeah, it's well, for me, it's written in a way that, like, I can process.
Yeah, it's written very well.
It's not like confusing or
Yeah.
I'll just chuck a link into chat in case anyone was interested in having a look.
Mm-hmm. Also, Lady Mephistopheles, you are not allowed to sing Get Dressed You Merry Gentlemen on the daily. That is specifically reserved for Christmas Day. Arthur would be very unhappy with you.
She's right.
It does amuse me that John Finnemore's Christmas Day tweet gets just so many likes and retweets and stuff, and all he needs to do is clear his throat, and everybody's like, yes, he's gonna do the thing. It's great. It's just wonderful. It's so silly. But I have been reading Pratchett, because as I've probably said several times, I, in my infinite wisdom, have decided to read the entire Discworld series in order. Because why not?
Can you get a Terry Pratchett subscription?
I wish.
Like,
That'd
he
be
wrote
great.
enough books
Probably
that
can.
surely there must be someone offering it.
What,
And if
40,
not,
41, 42 in Discworld? I'm not entirely sure. Hang on a second.
picks up 42 books.
There are. Oh, it's not numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I can't count all that. I can't be bothered. I think it's something like 41 or 42. 32. I'm pretty sure it's more than 30. Oh, 41 in total. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Just on a third reread in the last year. What, of all? Oh my good lord, that is dedication. But yeah. So I got the next two ones. So I got, I think, 11 and 12. On for Christmas, and I have now read both of them. And Diana got me this really cool edition of Small Gods that's like shiny and stuff.
That is an excellent cover.
It's so good. The best bit is on the blurb. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was, hey, you."
Nice.
Great. It is a very good story. It is wonderful. It's just Pratchett. We love him. What a wonderful, wonderful man and author.
Yeah.
You read them in a totally random article. What is available in the library this week? I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to read the Discworld books in order.
That was my approach to Asterix.
Oh, me too.
What does the library van have? Cool. I'll take that one again.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I have all of them, Asterix books wise.
Nice.
I think I might be missing a couple that I couldn't find. Yeah, kind of the only thing I've really sort of properly collected, because they're stories.
Yeah.
I say that reading through all of the Discworld, I guess I'm kind of collecting them too.
Yeah.
But at least with books, you can then give them to other people and all of that. So that's always good. It's very Hitchhiker's Guide sometimes. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like series within a larger series with Discworld. So you can read like the Witches stuff, and you can read the Night Watch stuff and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pratchett is just so good.
Yeah.
And brings up so many important topics. And just yeah. He just writes incredible stuff. And I'm also reading I have several books on the go at the moment, which is probably a bad idea because I'm much better at reading through a book at breakneck speed and then starting the next one. Because I've currently got, I started reading the Earthsea lot
Oh
of
yeah.
books. I've got Lies of Locke Lamora that Sam got me, and I have a non-fiction book called An Orkney Tapestry, which I got for Christmas because Orkney's cool, and I wanted to learn more about it. So it's, well, I say it's a non-fiction, but it's kind of poetic kind of stuff, really. But yeah, it's really cool.
Gathering my recent collection.
Oh God. Golem rights, yes.
Well, I was just going to say as well. Sorry, just to.
Oh yeah.
What?
I need to lend you Good Omens then. Actually, definitely.
Good omens to you.
Yep. Sorry, carry on.
No, just what was it? Syl's comment. It's very Hitchhiker's Guide. Sometimes I was going to say because I read that and I'm assuming because you, Lucy, picked that up as like read kind of out of sequence, or even though Hitchhiker's is well, I don't know.
Yes, I have read one, I think.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, and I've listened to various other things for the radio show.
I was just going to say, like, to me, I read that comment as kind of comparing the two in that they within probably more so Pratchett, but still I think Hitchhiker's has its moments where you just have like extreme moments of insightful profundity wrapped up in absurdist comedy, which is, I don't know, it's something that I guess some of our best authors do. That and that's not to say that's the only way you can be a good author or the only way you can do those things, but or
it's a very British comedy.
I was gonna say that, and it's like I mean, I don't know. I imagine I would be rightly corrected on it by other people, but I do feel like it is a thing that we Brits kind of specialise in.
Yeah.
And again,
it's kind of that kind of nonsense humour, but it's kind of being able to laugh at yourself, but at the same time saying something that's important.
Yeah, and again, like my comparison, my other reference would be like Blackadder. Second time I'm going to mention it in the stream, where it's obviously through the various series that take place across different time periods, but especially the World War One. I mean, as a series, it had a lot of tongue-in-cheek comments to make about class structure and the aristocracy and the ruling classes and the underclasses and stuff like that. And so much British TV is about that, and so much British comedy is about that. So now we're on to TV. But especially Blackadder Goes Forth. I've not watched any of the more recent stuff, so I'm just going to say the last series set in the trenches of World War One, which, good grief, I mean, they would literally show us that in history class in school, to make points that the teacher couldn't put any more succinctly. As a series, it had a lot of comments about the soldiers in the front line and the conditions under which they existed, and the people on the back lines who were sending them in without thought or care, and it obviously highlighted that. And then the final episode just doing that thing of using its nature as a comedy to deliver the biggest emotional gut punch that I probably experienced from a TV show for a very long time. We do that a lot. And again, this isn't to lay claim to it and say that other countries, other nations can't do that, because of course everyone can. But I feel like as an export, it's a thing we do well.
Also, I was just looking up what Saidov said, Bulgakov. I was trying to remember where I remembered that name. From. Yes. He was author of Master and the Margarita. Thought I recognised him. Which reminded me that I'd quite like to, on Chilliteracy at some point, read some of the Russian stuff.
Right.
Some of the shorter Russian stuff, I will say, because we're
Yeah.
not doing another Monte Cristo for a while. For a while, at least.
I was about to say
But
Monte
yeah,
Cristo is not Russian, but no, yes, I
Yes.
do. Yeah.
Lengthwise.
Yes.
Master and Margarita. Yes.
Tolstoy?
Yeah, it is allegedly good. Very good. I have not read it though. But yeah, there's quite a few Russian authors that I or a couple of Russian authors that I've read and I would love to read, but they're not out of copyright yet. Nabokov being one. Good writing, but you can't bring yourself to reread it considering the current climate. Yeah, that's fair enough. But also then you get into the whole argument of, you shouldn't play any Russian composers at the moment, which
Yeah.
I disagree with, because a lot of those composers were writing. Bulgakov was very anti-Ukraine. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I thought you literally just meant Russian.
Right.
But yes, fair enough then.
Solid reason. Good point. Well made. Thank you.
But yeah, like a lot of composer-wise, at least, like loads of Russian composers were very anti kind of the Russian regime and stuff. So it's like, play them, they're good, but
yeah.
Nah.
So yes, astute point by the cat. By Cat there as well. That mainly a British export because most people in the world can speak some English. All kinds of not so great reasons for that. Yes, exactly. That's that is absolutely true. Because of that, and yes, insofar as I'm able to apologise for my country and the things that we have done in the past, take no pride in the British Empire and just the sheer havoc that it has wrought upon the world. Joey has indeed. He's just having a wash.
Being a clean boy.
Yeah, but even then, I feel like actually in terms of the content, it's still something that it's difficult for me to like. There will be a lot of things from other languages that I don't speak that I just don't encounter and experience. So again, this isn't me saying like, we have exclusivity on this, because other countries will do the same thing. Didn't mean it's not good. It's just a reason you might not be aware of so many Zimbabwean comments. Exactly. Oh yeah, but yes, you're absolutely right. You sneezing? Okay, sneezing away. But I guess I suppose what I mean is in like Western media, by which even more specifically what I mean is between UK and American TV. Okay, one second. Joey is interrupting me because he wishes to leave. There you go.
Bye, Joey. He didn't have anything interesting to say about books or media.
No, he's not reading anything at the moment. In fact, he tries to sit on me when I'm reading, just like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this thing that you're trying to read? I wish to get in between it and you.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I'm trying to think if it's like going onto in any way dodgy ground to talk about The Office, for instance, which obviously putting aside art from artist opinions on Ricky Gervais. I feel like there is a fundamental difference between like the UK and the US versions of The Office. That's not to say one is necessarily better than the other, but like I have a preference, and I don't know. I feel like there is a.
I saw a thing about that recently.
Oh yeah.
It was just a tweet about it, and I can't remember what it was.
All right.
It's interesting.
But just in terms of like the
difference between the two.
Yeah, like they are very different shows, and the US Office feels much more like a sitcom, and the UK one is it's a comedy, but it's and not just in the it's cringe comedy, it's hard to watch. You like everyone knows someone a bit like David Brent. The thing for me was always that it just felt incredibly well observed, and it's hard to watch because it feels more like seeing a mirror held up to your own actions and attitudes at times, and like the embarrassment there, and like people doing painfully embarrassing things, and seeing that and thinking, oh yeah, I've done that. And that felt like there's just like just a layer of self-awareness and observation there that was kind of missing. I don't know. Oh no, don't worry, it's fine. A lot of awesome literature from the rest of the world that Anglophones don't know about, and so not knowing about other countries doing a thing doesn't mean exactly, and that's why I hope it. Again, I know you're not like challenging me to apologise for like the British or anything like that. That's totally cool. And even then, it's kind of it's a grander position for me to take on behalf of all Brits. I apologise.
Yes,
that's just getting weird. This is more like extremely online Twitter brain kicking in and being like, okay, I need to cover all the bases because I want to make it absolutely clear where I stand, that I'm against the empire and racism and colonialism and stuff like that, which should be obvious, but hey, it doesn't hurt to say it. But yes, no, you're absolutely right that as someone who has never been challenged to have to speak another language, I learned a bit of French in school and then made a public display of forgetting half of it, which I still remember. It's like I'm aware that I'm completely ignorant of other languages and other cultures, and that's why I don't want to be like, oh, we have a monopoly and a controlling interest in this level of into this specific brand of comedy and culture, because there's going to be a lot of other countries that do that or have their own slight twist and spin on that and stuff, and that's great. And if anything, I should be better and wish I were better about seeking that out and experiencing it and encountering it. Because then you get stuff like, well, I mean, I know Everything Everywhere All at Once was.
Oh yeah.
I mean the Daniels.
Good film. See it.
Oh yeah. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Very good.
But my understanding is that is very, very influenced by Chinese culture, which is cool, and something that sadly a lot of people are going to miss out on, because it's like, oh no, it's not entirely in English, spoken by English people. So even though a lot of it is,
and it will make you cry.
Oh, absolutely. That again delivers some just incredible emotional punches. Good grief.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Or at the other end, you get something like RRR, which, like, again, if you want to talk
also
about
a fantastic film.
like anti-colonialism and very, very specifically anti the British occupation of India and anti-British, go watch that film. It rips.
But also just watch it because it's like the best blockbuster I think I have ever seen. Just in terms of the stunts, in terms of the just look of the thing, the music, it's just a spectacle. It's insane. It's so good.
It's just an absolute masterpiece from start to finish. It
is utterly wonderful.
It is. I'll put it in chat as well, because it's RRR. It is that. It's
which is difficult to say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
the other film was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh yes,
which is another easy, catchy title. Yeah. Also, Lady Mephistopheles, has any of you read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue? I have not. I will look it up. And
no, I have not.
No, sounds good. Oh, is that what people are calling it? The acronym for it is EAO.
Yes,
That's great.
EEAO. Yeah. Oh, MacDonald made a film.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
You got that.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, what about the two clowns while making shampoo? Hang on, is it a joke?
That feels like a setup to a joke. Hang on, what are we walking into?
RRR? No. I'm sure you'll give us a punchline. If it isn't a joke, if it isn't, then
I'm baffled.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, it's another film. Right. No.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's sort of it's Indian.
Yes.
And sort of they like
it's
so that
not Bollywood.
No,
it is what
Tollywood, because it's a Tamil film. And actually, like, well, for me personally, slightly annoyingly, it's dubbed, like, because it's on Netflix, and it's dubbed, but the actors themselves dubbed the voices, and what it was, they recorded it in one language, and then I think it was because, like, for like wider distribution, they recorded it in a more commonly known, I want to say, Indian language dialects. So it's still, it's not dubbed into English. There probably is a dubbed English version, I don't know. But just the fact that it's still, even if you're reading the subtitles, it's still, the voices are still dubbed over. It just, like, it throws me off a little bit, and I'd just be quite happy to just have it play whatever the original dialogue is, and I'll just sit and read the subtitles. That's fine. But yeah, it's so good, and like the song and dance number in the middle of the film is like is it Natu Natu?
Oh yeah,
it won a Golden Globe, I want to say, recently. And
I didn't know that, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, and I think it couldn't be nominated for Best Picture because they only allow like one entry per country or something like that, and another Indian film got nominated instead. So it's like, that's cool. How many American films get nominated?
Well, yes.
You watch enough dubbed anime not to have it bother you. Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like an odd thing to get hung up on, and it's not really a hang up at all. Like, it didn't detract from my enjoyment of the film, but it's just like I guess it's like either language I can't understand. Like I just don't. So I'm reading the subtitles anyway. So I'd just be quite happy to be able to select the original audio so that the sounds and the mouth movements match up. Would be fine. But yeah, highly recommend it. Does get pretty violent. So if like violence and in particular, I guess slight spoilers, a rather extended torture scene make you uncomfortable, then be advised for that. But it rules. Very, very good. It's so good.
Yeah. And on the subject of like dubbing and things, I was having a chat with my mum the other day about. I think she said she'd either listened to a program on the radio or seen something on TV that was talking about how unsung translators are, both in like, I guess, TV, film, and especially translated editions of books. Because like, realized that, for example, for Monte Cristo, I should have said who the translator was, or who the translation was by, rather. And it really does make or break a book that isn't in your language to have a decent translation of it. And I just can't imagine how difficult it must be to be a translator and to attempt to get the meaning, especially in written stuff, get the meaning across. If the meaning, for example, is like hidden and metaphor and all of that kind of stuff, it's like, how do you do that?
There's
like, what? How?
Yeah, that's it. It's not just kind of being bilingual. You need to, for some things, you're going to have to be like bicultural to actually understand. Like, oh, it's not just like this word to that word, this word to that word. Like,
you have to understand the idioms. You have to understand
like
why.
And I'm trying to think of there's going to be so many absurd British expressions that we, again, back on my people. Sorry, there's going to be stuff that we say that to us just this makes sense.
Everybody else is like, what on earth are you on about?
Yeah. So how do you translate "oi oi savaloi" into German? Why are you calling
it's called localization? Okay, didn't know that. Cool. Also, I didn't know that Lady Mephistopheles, you are a translator by education. That's very cool.
Nice.
That is very cool indeed.
Thank you for the work you do.
Yeah, especially something like Pratchett. Exactly. A friend of mine, her friend is I want to say Pakistani translator. I think possibly. So yeah, but he's multilingual. But again, similar kind of things. Just like he doesn't. I don't think he translates written stuff. I think it's for possibly like meetings and things like that. But yeah.
Oh,
Now comes the monkey. Are we idioming in weird languages? What? Excellent.
I can't even think.
No, but I love it.
Well, I was going to say, actually, to briefly steer it back around to books, in particular what we've been reading, in Dracula, there was a bit I had to censor out, and I'm not going to repeat it, because it was a British character, Dr. Seward, for those who've been following along. If you were reading along, because I know some people do, you would have possibly noticed me miss it out, but used used an expression where honest something, and it's not an expression I'd heard. Again, I don't want to repeat it because you just have to guess. Apologies. But yeah, an expression that to me felt like an American expression, because it kind of involves Americans and Native Americans. And so it felt weird, first of all, right. for a British character to be coming out with this expression. Because Bram Stoker, being an American, probably just kind of threw that in as like, oh yeah, people say that. But sorry, I just read the first line of what Cyril just posted. Like, yeah, sure, sick, okay, go for that. Actually, I want to get onto Control, because Artie in Control.
Oh yeah, all the Finnish idioms that makes no sense whatsoever.
And I love it. But yeah, so like, and that's the thing. So that was one that just kind of came up. And you did. I'm going to get him in a second. Oh, okay. That was one that came up in Dracula, and I was like, well, firstly, this was like an odd, and I don't want to edit the work, but also I'm not going to say a frankly racist expression. So I'm not going to do that. But I had to look it up and be like, what is this? Oh, okay, no, this is an offensive thing. Well, all right, that can just go. So I just shortened it to him going honest. But yeah, I'd never heard that before. And so, again, it's just like different cultural expressions, different idioms and things that people say. Are weird. And I'm going to let the cat in.
Okay. Oh, as you let the cat in, the cat who walks by herself is having to dash.
Goodbye.
But yes, have a good start from 6 a.m. tomorrow. That sounds rough.
Come on.
Oof, good luck. I hope it goes well. Have a good day tomorrow.
Yeah, come on.
Cat plus and cat minus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Good night, cat. Hope you sleep well. And yeah, Sil, that is amazing. Thanks, the Danes, for that. That is wonderful. Cat neutral. Exactly. There we go.
Yeah.
Cat cancels each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all of Artie's expressions in Control
that's
were
so
great,
good.
and I love people kind of appreciating that, and like Remedy being able to I love that they were able to, in a mainstream game as successful as that, able to have such a just unashamedly Finnish character. And just for them to effectively be able to like celebrate their own culture and like put that into the game, be like, no, here's a guy who's just Finnish. He's played by a well-known, I believe, like quite beloved Finnish actor, and we're just going to put him in it. Everyone from here will know who he is. The rest of the world's going to think, who on earth is this weird guy spouting nonsense? But I love it. It's so good.
It is wonderful.
Yeah, and again, it's like, I don't understand what he's saying. Oh, so there's going to be like a whole Finnish expression that you guys know and love, and it's weird to me. Sick. Just steep me in that culture, please do. It's so good. Hello. Are you okay? Were you sad? I'm not going to fully tilt the camera down, but here is boy.
Better cat. Best boy.
Yeah, that's the camera.
Best screamy boy.
Yeah. Trying to get the good scritchy spot.
Looking at the camera like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get the good scritchy spot on his head, just does like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it just can't quite process it, and the whole thing just has to swivel.
Yeah, and then occasionally he starts scratching.
Yeah.
does not know what he's doing.
And back to
Precious, precious boy.
Yes. Hello.
Oh. But no, I was going to say, like, talking about, well, not even idioms, but just like cultural differences and things. Like reading this book on Orkney, there's some excellent little tales about just like, I guess, tales that people tell each other about various people on like various Orkney Islands.
Yeah.
Just funny little tales. Apparently there were these two brothers who lived together and took care of this croft together. And one of them got bored and decided that he would go away and join the Hudson's Bay Company for 12 years.
Oh, right.
And disappeared for 12 years. And then he got bored of that, so he quit. And he came back to his brother sitting outside their croft. And his brother's like, "Where have you been all this time?" And he just went, "Oot." It's like,
fair.
Okay, I like it. It's great. It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just the idea you can be away for 12 years. Like, where have you been?
I mean, even you saying that, like, we talk about like cultural differences between, again, like my main like media point of reference, the UK and the US. But that even just with you saying "oot" like that, it just reminded me of like what popped into my head was the Fallout 4 Geordie Apocalypse. Like, I'm gonna
no.
But like
this
that
cryopod.
But even that is like, and it's going to be the same for every other country as well. But like, just not even international differences, like cultural differences between different counties in the UK. That, like the tweet that comes up and did the rounds recently about like in the UK you travel 100 miles, they speak a completely different language, and and bread rolls have a different name, that kind of thing. And even like within like traveling across the UK in less landmass than a single state from the US, and the dialects has changed like 7 different times. Exactly, Mephistopheles. It's like that. It's absurd.
Yeah,
culture and society are just bizarre things.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, not trying to be like, oh, we're special, because no, we're not. But
we're not.
Just in terms of the size of the UK.
Yeah.
And the sheer number of like regional accents and cultures and all of that, it's really silly when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's really incredible, and it's silly, but it's also really lovely that it's, to the extent that it's still around.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of again, no, I can say when I was up in Orkney, I saw lots of posters about people talking about preserving the local heritage and preserving the dialect and the Orcadian language, basically, because up there it's half Norse. So it's kind of weird mix of stuff. But and obviously as globalization continues, then that's going to die out. But it is impressive how, and heartening to see how much of that has stayed. Yeah.
Well, it's like that that folk horror film that I was reading about recently. It's a Cornish film, and it's got posters. It's like some of the advertising campaign for it is being done in, I want to say, Kernowick. I don't know where the emphasis goes. Kernowick.
No idea.
Kernowick, whatever. The Cornish language. And that's, again, like Cornwall has its own language, which is spoken by very few people. And no shade to using your experience as a point of reference, absolutely. But I am ever conscious that, you know, my set of experiences are very narrow and come from this perspective, and so I always just want to be careful to like couch that in like this is me, this is where I'm from, and I am aware of that as best as I can be. I
was going to say what Lady Mephistopheles just said, the effort of Welsh people to continue teaching
exactly
Welsh, Irish as well. It's preservation of endangered languages is so close to your heart. It's amazing. Just it does feel actually like what Lady Mephistopheles was saying about Ireland and Wales doing what they can, because obviously, especially in Wales, there was the whole anti-Welsh thing.
Yeah.
Of don't speak Welsh,
Yeah.
and people getting persecuted for speaking Welsh, and it's like
even
basically undoing that kind of collective trauma from us.
Well, it's I was going to say that is the English, and that is colonialism. Thinking
that isn't Wales's choice. That was us going, you must learn our language.
Yeah, and like even as far as New Zealand, which I believe the same thing was done to the Maori there as well, in just like, no, you will speak English rather than your own native tongue. It's like, wow, that's just messed up. And it's like, even for me, like, learning that we did that, it's like, grief. Yeah, I can believe we did it, but it's
which is, and it's so silly, because when you actually sit down and think, it's like the English language obviously is, I don't know if it is it must be the most widely spoken language around the world now. I feel like Spanish is either first or second, but it's really up there. But just the fact that the language that has come from the country that is so very bad at teaching other languages.
Yeah.
It's like, we do not put in the effort to learn other languages. No. Our language provision in schools is awful.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And quite frankly, it's bad for English as well at this point. And I know they've been doing lots to try and sort of put like ridiculous amounts of grammar teaching in schools. Like, we're talking knowing stuff about grammar that grammar pedants don't know, and who are like in their like 50s. It's like, nobody needs that. We just need a good grasp of other languages rather than English. So Chinese, of course, has my numbers.
But yes, depending on how
I was going to say, I don't think English was the first one, but yes.
Yeah.
And
like, that's the thing, that's like, that's a privilege that I can't really begin to grasp. Just literally, like, in this exact context, being able to just hit start streaming on OBS, speak to the internet where people are able to watch from all manner of different countries around the world.
You are all from all sorts of different places, and we can speak to you in English.
And I can speak and you can understand. That is like, it's, and not having another experience of that, I'm not able to grasp the scope of that privilege. It's absurd. That I can do that. And like, you should all be saying, that's great, I can't understand you, could you speak it in my language by rights? And I should be obliging, but it's
just languages in general. I think like what you were saying, Lady Mephistopheles, there is like, I don't know how languages are taught in other countries, but I feel like it's not great across the board. But I think the UK is particularly bad, but that's just, again, my experience. But just languages need to be taught a bit better. But and the thing that is incredibly silly as well is like, there's still in a lot of grammar and learning the one true translation of the vocabulary. That sounds about right. Hardly ever learning from context. And also a lot of British private schools still teach Latin, which, like, I get it in that most languages have some kind of, well, I say most, a lot of languages, a lot of Western languages, there we go, have a common root in either Latin or Greek. But there is no way, apart from Italian, there is no way that you can learn Latin and really properly use that in a real life context to learn another language. It's not going to do much. And it's like,
it feels like it should be rolled into history instead. Like,
exactly. It's an interesting language.
Linguistic history. Hell yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's an interesting language, but also it's like, if you're going to teach Latin, why don't you teach Greek too? Because Greek has got a completely different alphabet. Surely that's more interesting to learn and will probably, like, help I don't know, but yeah, but it's like, so instead of learning Latin, why don't you just teach another language, or just maybe put more resources into teaching one of the languages you do teach better. Knowing Latin allows you basically understand an Italian newspaper. Yeah.
It's Salad saying about in the Netherlands, everyone knows at least 3 languages. Most people learn 4 or 5. Yeah, I learned that literally from an Eddie Izzard joke about about how bad I think the UK is at teaching languages, and yet the Dutch is like you all speak 5 different languages and you smoke pot. Like how?
Yeah.
What is this? Yeah.
Why can't I live there?
The sausage, egg and chips, please, when we go abroad. It's that whole one.
Yeah. Don't teach Greek because ancient Greek isn't similar to modern Greek. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Latin's helpful for learning Romance languages. Yes. And mildly useful if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor. Yeah. So my dad's a lawyer. He's managed to get away without learning Latin. So
nice.
Well, lawyer, solicitor, same difference.
I wanted to go back to the. Sorry, you still going? You keep talking. I thought you were done.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I'm not entirely sure how much Latin is used in the kind of law he does. I think it's more for, I don't know, fancier law. I don't really know.
Fair enough. Big law for large businesses.
Exactly.
Just that a lot of grammar and learning the one true translation of the vocabulary. Hardly ever learning from context. Like that was always. I feel like that was always my problem when learning French in school, and you learn how do you say I'm Sam in French? Well, you say je m'appelle Sam, but kind of what it feels like you're saying there is I am called Sam, and that's not what I would say. If someone says, "Oh, what's your name?" I go, "I'm Sam," and yet in French, comment t'appelles-tu? Je m'appelle Sam. And you do it like that, and that felt like you were taught a very rigid, very formal, like not how normal people speak to each other normally, but essentially, like accent aside, a way of speaking that will immediately show you up as, oh, not from round here, you're one of those strange folk that's come over. And so I always felt uncomfortable about actually attempting to speak that, because it's like I'm going to sound like I'm reading out of a phrase book rather than having a normal human conversation with a normal human person.
It's basically theory versus practice.
Yeah.
So it's they are teaching you the theory behind something without actually giving you any of the practical skills to teach it, to learn it rather.
Yeah. And so that was always kind of my hang up with speaking French. Although funnily enough, it was one of my best subjects in school. So,
conversational versus formal. Yeah, you should have some basis of the standard language before you learn colloquialisms. Yeah, again, I'm gonna
absolutely
liken it to music theory in that regard. Like, having a good basis in music theory will absolutely help you with the practical parts of being a musician.
As with all anything like that, you learn the rules, so you learn where to break them.
Yeah, exactly. But you break them. But it's just high school Spanish class went to Mexico. Some of the locals made fun of your teacher's Spanish because he spoke 1950s school teacher Spanish. Yeah, that's the thing I particularly like, when like teachers take like school kids on a trip and the teachers are allegedly fluent in the language, but they are fluent in a very specific formal type of the language because they've been stuck to the curriculum for so long. And they are very obviously not like out of place. Completely. Yeah.
And then you actually talk to a native fluent speaker of the language, and one word will function. It's, again, thinking back to French, it's just, and that can mean so many different things in context. But to me, that's just also yes. Well, technically, it means yes. That is the pure definition of the word that was said. But let's look at how it was expressed. And it's like, no. My French textbook said, and the episode of Musi that I watched said, ouais, means yes. So therefore you said yes. It doesn't really, though, does it, school teacher? So none of that comes across in at least GCSE French. And then you get to A level, and it's like, well, now you're expected to just phone up French businesses and have entire fluent conversations with them and write essays in French. And it's like, that's terrifying. No, I don't want to do that. I struggle with this. Favourite French expression is
French-
"oh la vache."
AKA the cow, I
Yeah.
assume.
Oh, the cow.
Oh, the cow. Is that basically holy cow? Like the French version of that? Oh, that just reminds me of the Monty Python bit in Holy Grail.
Fetch la vache.
Fetch la vache. La vache?
The cow. Ah, oui, oui.
Yes.
La vache.
Yeah. I like that. That's
I'm
good.
nearly out of water.
Oh no.
C'est possible.
C'est possible. Yeah, but it's
Je m'appelle Pascal. So we always had to listen to tapes, which always had a child who spoke like that.
yeah, oh always.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
There's this
tallies with my experience too.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, what is the person saying in this tape?
My best, I say best, it was the worst thing. Because I did A-level German. And oh boy, German grammar. Why do you have so many flipping tables? Why? Like, I get it, you're very logical, but come on. You don't need to just have something for every single possible outcome. Because that's the thing with English that we don't have. We don't have, like, specific endings for words depending on whether they're masculine, feminine, or neuter.
And then we've got the E suffix, which as an EY, which we just put on things to say it's a bit like something.
Oh, yeah. But no, I remember in one of my A-level German classes, we decided to watch Das Boot, which is, how long is it? It's something stupid like 3 hours long, and it feels longer because it is such a slow film. Doesn't matter what language it's in, it is just such a slow film. And we just watched that.
Sick.
And I think it had to be two or three lessons back to back, and it was so deadly because we were just sitting there going, well, I mean, cool, we can pretty much understand most of the German here, but we don't care because we don't want to be watching this bloody film about a submarine because it's claustrophobic and it goes on forever.
You should watch Hunt for Red October. You'll be speaking Russian within like about 3 minutes at the start of it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just like suddenly clicks into place.
Yeah. German still has cases, right? German has literally everything. German's like, it took other stuff from every single other language and went, yes, we need this. It's just, ish is your favorite English suffix. Yes, mine too. Catch you learning Spanish by watching Narcos. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like watching films in different languages. All you know how to say is swears now. I mean, surely isn't that the first thing that any child asks? What's this word, this bad word in this language?
How do I say something that people won't immediately understand as a bad word?
Yes. Yeah. But it's interesting because, like, for me, language-wise, I think I can probably still read a fair bit of German. Like, if you give me like something on the back of like a German blurb or something, I can probably just about get through that. But couldn't speak it at all. That's completely gone.
Yeah.
Mainly because you have to sit there going, right, hang on, is this in past tense? Where do I put the verb? Oh, I put it at the end. Shit, what was the verb?
Yeah.
What was I saying? So that, but also, yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I've learnt more Italian, never having taken an Italian class in my life, from learning operas and learning songs and things in Italian than I have German in an actual German, like, Key Stage 3 curriculum, which is quite interesting. Although a lot of the stuff in Italian, obviously, is kind of like poetic Italian. It's not, I know it's not actual, like, normally spoken Italian, but yeah.
Yeah.
And here are the Latin students studying Cicero and looking for the verb. Dr. Faustus, no. Although that's another one. There's bound to be a good translation of that somewhere.
I was going to say that like earlier when we were talking about translation, that's a thing that I've realised we should probably consider when looking for public domain samples. that
Yeah.
obviously like the original might be old.
But
if
the
the
translation could
if
be
the translation
out in
is
copyright.
a recent one, that is something we should consider and try to find.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
some like translated work that is also presumably in the public domain, and that's where on the Bandcamp, which segues
Good
into that.
segue.
Hey, thank you. The version of Micromegas that I read, because the version that's in the book that I've got credits the translation to Adam Roberts, who compiled the sci-fi collection. So he's credited with the translation. He is very much still alive and publishing and writing. Very good author, in fact. Should read his stuff. I highly recommend.
He was the
Compelled.
that.
Yeah. And so I did go on to Gutenberg and read a much older translation from a long time ago. And it seemed pretty much the same. I wasn't like
Still
reading them
pretty
side by
sassy.
side. Yeah, oh exactly. Like it felt like the tone and the content was all still there.
Which I think is the thing with French authors. The French are just really sassy.
Yeah.
Just like I mean in Monte Cristo, just sass.
Yeah.
So much sass, it's great. And Gutenberg. Yeah, I think we've read some stuff from Gutenberg before, haven't we?
Yes. Well, that's what I did for that. And
Oh, that's what you did for that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You literally said that.
That's okay.
Fun play, Dr. Faustus. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's another Pratchett one, isn't it? Faust crossed out Eric.
Oh yeah.
Someone who summons a demon who definitely isn't a demon.
Right.
He's a wizard and he's confused.
Oh.
It's Rincewind.
Right.
Rincewind gets summoned by a teenage demonologist.
Right.
Which is quite entertaining. It's a very, 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 very thin one. It's like a tiny book.
Huh? Cool.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we do definitely want to read more foreign language stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously translated.
Yeah.
But yeah, because this is the thing as well. Like when we started this, we were just like, oh, will we run out of stuff? Because obviously we don't want to read anything that's in copyright.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, we're definitely gonna run out of stuff. And then we just keep on like thinking of things, and it's like, oh yeah, we could just do that, and there's this, and there's that. So yeah, we're not gonna run out of stuff.
And if we ever want to store for a year, we just need to pick another novel. Simple as that. Just
a long one.
Yeah. Just done.
Basically, if we want to store for a year, it's either War and Peace or Les Mis.
I mean, that would be a few years.
Or Anna Karenina.
I did worry because my copy of Three Men in a Boat, which is the one recommended by your dad, came through, and it arrived and I was like, oh wait, that's actually kind of a sizable looking chunk of a book. This actually has 2 books in it.
Oh right, I was going to say that is quite chunky because I've got just the Three Men in the Boat. And
this has also
smaller.
Three Men on the Bummel, which is a great name.
Yeah,
That's there.
You vote for Les Mis? No.
But yes, it has both of those in here. So
nice.
I'm kind of looking forward to, because I like reading comedy. It turns out it's fun.
Yeah. I just would really, really like War and Woodhouse to get a shifty on and be in the public domain just soon. I know they won't be for quite a number of years, like another 20
a while,
years.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but two of my absolute favourite authors, Woodhouse and Pratchett. My 2 favourite authors, especially comedy authors, like they are just the creme de la creme of. They're the only books that I've ever actually laughed out loud whilst reading.
Yeah.
Which I feel is quite difficult when you're reading a book.
I've got a couple of those out of the Jason Pargin, the John Dies at the End. Those have got me a couple of times.
Okay. I mean authors that aren't modern.
Oh yeah.
Ones, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean Dickens is pretty good. Sherlock Holmes is indeed now in public domain. Yep.
Yep.
I've already read one of them.
Yeah.
I read Speckled
I can say that's another thing as well. Like because my my Google algorithm has caught me looking up public domain stuff. I now get served every year. Like, hey, these books and these things are now in the public domain.
Oh yeah.
Almost always from an American's perspective, because American copyright law, public domain law, is different to the UK.
It is.
And so I keep getting like, hey, finally, Winnie the Pooh's in the public domain, or Sherlock Holmes is now in the public domain. And with Sherlock Holmes, I'm like, he already was. And so then it's like, oh yeah, for American audiences, where the rules are slightly different, and it's time from when the work was published rather than when the author died, and it's a different span of time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We'll definitely read more Sherlock at some point, because they're good stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, very much, I think, very much more suited to a radio dramatization than they are actually to read out loud.
Yeah.
Because they are good books. I don't think Conan Doyle is the best writer, honestly. He's very matter of fact, which I guess works with Sherlock, but also, obviously, the stories speak for themselves plot wise. Yeah. So he kind of gets away with it.
Yeah.
70 years from the author's death. Yeah, that's what we've got as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where the.
But yeah, there are just lots of good things that we want to read.
Yeah.
But you're what, over halfway through Dracula?
Yes. Yeah, we're past halfway. We've still got a fair chunk of the book to go. That's where we are and where we've got to get to. It's like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what we've done.
Yeah.
That's what's left. So yeah.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Yeah, not too bad.
We've established now that Count Dracula is actually a bad dude.
Really?
Yeah, and we've figured out how to kill a bad dude. Oh, good night. Thank you for being
here. Good night, Lady Miss. Yep,
Indeed.
I can say your name.
There you go. Because I know you're a big fan. There's Cat. There.
Cat says good night.
He does.
Yes,
yeah.
sleep well. But yes, you mentioned the Bandcamp, so I'm going to mention it again.
Yeah. Do we spoil what's coming up next because we're talking about good writing?
I was just about to say, can I spoil what's coming next? Because you guys are in for a treat. If you want to listen to any of our stuff, bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
If you want to listen to any of our stuff more professionally recorded with, like nice little musical intros and outros and no mistakes, then head on over to our Bandcamp, where you can either subscribe for the low price of £20 a year, or you can buy the separate albums, basically currently collections of short stories, for I think it's like £7 or more. The usual Bandcamp price.
I forget what we said.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you can go lower than that on Bandcamp. I don't think you're allowed to.
Oh, right.
I've tried.
Okay.
So yeah, either you can pick and choose what you want, or you can subscribe, and then you get a monthly installment of short stories before anyone else, basically.
Yeah.
And we have broken the short story trend, because next month, which I guess I can say, given that it's in 2 days' time, you're going to get Jekyll and Hyde, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which has been very wonderfully read by Sam.
Thank you.
And please listen to it, because it took me so damn long to read it. This is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the problem with, and this is why we didn't start doing proper audiobook, edited nice audiobook things to start with, because oh my god, editing these things takes forever. Because we are human, we make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you have to edit out the mistakes and make sure that it all sounds nice and all of that fun stuff. So I think I've worked out now, for every half hour of reading, it'll probably take me maybe 2 hours to edit. So, yeah, but it sounds good after it, and hopefully people will appreciate it. So
we're proud of the product that we're making and putting up. Lucy puts in so much work to bring it to you.
I do.
Like for the stuff that I read,
I mean,
I just sit and read for like 3 to 4 hours, depending on the length of the work. So like yeah.
You always find the mistakes very charming. Well, that's why we still read on Twitch. That's like that. Yeah, that's the core and the heart of what Chilliteracy is.
Yeah.
We are just chilling and hanging out and reading some books.
Yeah.
And if we make mistakes, we make mistakes. But we're
like this kind of environment here on Twitch for the live stream is kind of what it's sort of bedtime story, I guess, is the quick kind of elevator pitch that I would give for it. That's essentially what it is, which comes with cat interruptions, which comes with sneezes, mistakes, flubs, dodgy accents, and all that kind of stuff. And that is essentially free. Obviously, you can subscribe. And we're grateful to those that do, but this is essentially the free products, and we feel like that's fine to put that out as just a free thing for you to kind of tune in, listen to, hang out, and if you want the VOD, that's up on YouTube, which is also free. And that's also kind of why, I think in part why the stuff we're putting on Bandcamp isn't new things, because we don't want to like paywall and gatekeep like new content. And
also it's another thing that we would have to check and find new stuff to read, and it's just more work.
And so it's more of it's essentially like I guess I kind of view it as another form of subscription, where it's like if you like what we do and you want to again like chuck us a bit more money and support for it, which isn't to equate giving money with support. You support just by being here and enjoying what we do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, if you want to do that, then that's there, and you can have, because it's an actual product that we are attaching money value to, and it's being like, okay, well, if you want this, I mean, you can listen to it on Bandcamp, but if you want to actually buy it and download it, it's a sellable product. That's where we feel like we should make it more professional in its presentation. Because if we were to just like strip out the audio from this and resell it on Bandcamp, that would feel cheap to me. Like it'd just be an odd product to sell, and in that environment, in that context. And so it feels like we should re-record it, do it nice. And if that's something that appeals to you, then cool. If not, that's fine too.
It's basically sort of an archive of slightly nicer done stuff, basically. And slightly more convenient for people to access as well. Like you can actually download it.
Yeah. And just like for me, and I don't know if this applies to you as well, there'll be times when like I'll be reading something and I'll finish like a sentence, like a line of dialogue or a description, and think, oh, I could have done that better. I could have emphasized it better, put a bit more personality or character into it and stuff. And this gives us an opportunity to do that as well. So it's like, that they said that line, but I could have done that a lot better. I could have like put more into it. And so instead, literally the technique that we have for I want to go again is to click into the microphone to create a spike on the audio wave, so that Lucy knows where to go back and edit from. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to do that again, have another go. Which, by the way, if you are listening and you hear any errant clicks that got missed and left in, sorry.
I should apologise. But there shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be.
I do listen through.
Which again, listening through like 1 to 3 hours worth of recording isn't something you can do quickly. So
nope.
Yeah.
You have to check for helicopters and stuff.
Yep.
And cats.
Yeah.
In your case.
Yeah, and page turns.
And page turns.
Beard scratches and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real behind the scenes.
Sam makes a lot of noise when he reads, guys.
I don't tend to, but it happens.
Yeah. I mean, you do also have a closer mic, so.
Yeah, I do put it right into my face.
Yeah, so that's going to happen. Insider info, exactly. You get the behind the scenes stuff. Yes. It is quite entertaining for me whenever you're reading something and you'll get to the end of a sentence and I just hear a faint
meow. Yeah.
It's like, do I keep that in?
But yeah, so it's just because even with the freedom that we have when doing the live reading to oh, I got that word wrong, I'm going to go back and reread that sentence, or it's like, yes, indeed, he shouted. Oh, yes, indeed. And to that kind of thing. It's nicer to be able to like erase that, go back and just do it as written, do it as you'd want to do it. Like a little bit voice axy, just kind of lead into the performance a little bit more.
Honing our performance a little bit and giving you a slightly nicer product.
Yeah, and I feel like that probably comes through in the live reading as well. Like we're just able to get into it a little bit more, kind of with that just extra experience and practice, I suppose. So
yes, it's definitely it's definitely got a lot sort of smoother.
Yeah,
I reckon, with reading and things.
Yeah,
but
would dread to go back and listen to the first recordings and actually like sit here. Oh no, it sound like back in school when the teacher goes you in English class, like you.
Yeah. He jumped over the wall and
somebody recited a French poem after supper and we said it was beautiful. And then a lady sang a sentimental ballad in Spanish and it made one or two of us weep. It was so pathetic. And this isn't to mock anyone else. This is how I would read those things in school because I hated it, and how everyone else in my class would read it too because we all hated it. And I dreaded being called on, and now it's what I do here. So yeah.
Whereas, and I know we've spoken about this before, I was the literal opposite.
That does not surprise me.
No, I was always like, yeah, I'll read stuff, including Macbeth in a Scottish accent. Which I still can't believe I had the guts to do. It wasn't a half bad Scottish accent either. Now imagine reading it in your second or third language. Oh God, yeah. Oh, maybe we should do some Shakespeare at some point.
Oh,
that is really cool. So
yeah, that's good.
Andy Pants, you were also such an insufferable show-off reading in class. Yeah, woo!
Oh, that's really lovely, Sil.
That is really cute.
Oh,
see, that's the thing. Is like I reckon you and I would probably like reading to each other if we didn't do it on this already.
Yeah.
You did a speaking exam with a Scottish accent.
I mean,
amazing.
I think we had discussed in the past finding like a 2-character play or something that like the two of us could do. Again, need to be in the public domain.
Yes.
And do something like that. Waiting for Godot being the first choice, but obviously that's not.
That is not in the public domain.
They could probably still get away with it though.
Yeah. I mean, Beckett's not out of copyright either.
No.
Beckett's not out of copyright, and also Rosen, because the other
it's Ping.
What?
Another Beckett piece called. No, I had to do this for A-level English.
I didn't hear what you said.
Ping, it's called.
Oh right, yeah. No, I was going to say another 2-person play, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead.
Yeah.
Which is again fantastic, good comedy, very good, but I don't think that is out of copyright.
No.
Your wife and I have been known to read spooky stories to each other from time to time. Nice.
Hell yeah.
I like the idea of like finding as spooky story as you can possibly find and trying to scare the other one with it. That'd be great. It would be great if you could find something like that. If nothing else, Lucy does the woman sound as the man. Yeah. That could work.
Oh, Lynn, I completely identify with that. I don't know, maybe for different reasons. So find reading so hard, the concentration to read the words means you don't actually understand and take them in. You've had to read a page paragraph, you couldn't even tell what you'd read. Or after you've read a page paragraph, couldn't even tell what you've read. I've had that happen with a number of books that I've read, and again, this is me with my narrow reading range of science fiction. There's been more than a few that I've read where for me grabs a wheel to talk about personal experiences rather than discuss yours. For me, I'll I'll get to the end of a page or paragraph with some books written by some authors and be like, one, I'm sure this is really smart. Two, individually I can understand all of the words that have been written down. But three, in the context of the sentences where they are put next to all these other words, I've read like 3 pages of this book and I couldn't tell you a single thing that has just happened. Like, it literally just hasn't made any sense to me. And again, I'm assuming this is for different reasons and purposes. But like I have had what I would assume to be a similar experience to that, with just for some reason, for me, like some authors and the way that they write sometimes, just I literally cannot like, it's in my language. As I say, I understand what all these words mean, but for some reason they've managed to write it in a way that I cannot process, and I need to go back and like seriously concentrate on everything that's being said, and like really, really work hard to actually pass what has been said. And so I in some sense at least I hope I get it.
Yeah. Had that when you started reading Pratchett, I had to reread paragraphs so much. Yeah, that makes sense. The thing I like with Pratchett is, footnote. Hang on a second. And the best thing is when the footnote goes over the page, so you have to finish reading the footnote, turn over the page, finish reading the footnote, go back and try and find where you were.
Great.
I just, You've consumed more literature since watching this channel than the rest of my life. Yay!
Hey.
That is what we aim to do, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
so long as you're enjoying it, like,
Yes, so long as we're not forcing
you're not
you.
like here out of obligation or anything like that. Like,
Yes.
that's the first goal. If you're here because you enjoy it and it's enabling you to experience more stuff, hell yeah, that's great. Love to hear.
Because that's the thing, is like we know, and I'm like mentioning Audible again, we know that there are professionally done fancy audiobooks with actual like voice actors / actual actors.
Here's Andy Serkis reading. Okay, fine, I guess.
Yes, all right. We know you'll do this well, with like really good production value and all of that fun stuff. But obviously, that is, you have to subscribe to a service like Audible. You have to pay. Not obviously that much, like that's fairly reasonable, I guess, but you don't get. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, you get it, huh?
Because it's an Amazon product.
Well, yeah, quite. But yeah, because you get a finite number of things that you can do with that subscription, and it's like, well, this is what we're trying to do. Obviously, is again create basically an archive of stuff that people can access for free, or with the Bandcamp, something slightly more polished, for less than an Audible subscription. This is not this. Yeah, there's kind of a shameless plug, I guess, but you know, you're here. But yeah, just like, and also because we're basically reading to friends, like, well, that's at least the attitude that we come at this at with.
Us and our personality is also a part, is one of the unique selling points of the channel. Like this relationship, this interaction between the two of us and between us and you, chat, is also like you don't get that when you buy an audiobook from Audible.
No.
And you get a different product just as you get here, and this isn't to be like we're better than that or anything. It's not like independent bookstore versus, well, Amazon now because they killed all the others. It's not trying to like pitch one against the other, but it's just like, since we're talking about ourselves, like that's kind of what we're giving you. Again,
and also
bedtime stories.
Just actually,
it's
bedtime stories, and actually being able to talk about what you've just read. Like the fact that we basically do a debrief at the end of every stream. That's something that I obviously I like talking about books. I like talking about literature. I like talking about art, everything. And when you're actually sort of consuming a form of art together as a group, and then can basically talk about it straight afterwards when everything's still fresh in your mind. For me, that's great. I love doing that. And that's sort of, again, that's kind of what we're trying to do here, is just like, chat about it, and
Also, a couple of things. Firstly, I've just remembered because we've got a couple of new. Is it like what new emote slots somewhere? Is that one new emote
we
slot
do.
or two new? I
I
forget
think
how
you
many.
said we did. Yes.
Yeah. So if you have any emote suggestions, I thought of one like a thing that we've been talking about doing as some kind of merch, and that we could perhaps start as an emote. The old books of my personality.
Oh yeah.
We could like fit the text of that onto an emote. Maybe I'll kick that idea around.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say was Andy, going back a bit, saying you've definitely listened to stuff on here that you never would have read on your own, even in audio form. Same. That's something that I found through doing this, that there's because of the nature of it, because it's got to be older fiction. It's things that I wouldn't normally have encountered outside of English in school, where they make you read the older books to understand the classics and stuff. And so there's a lot of things here that if I hadn't if I had studied them in school, I would have read them, but I didn't. And so now I'm just like, well, I don't know what that is. And, it's Dracula. I know Dracula. You've got a guy, he goes to Transylvania, he gets bitten or whatever, he turns into a vampire. There's a guy who's like very pale and he goes, blah, and there's Dracula. We all know Dracula. There's no point, no need to read it. And so I never would have read it. And now I'm actually reading it, being like, oh, this is quite interesting. Same with, again, because we're talking about it, and because it's fresh in my mind because I just recently read it, Jekyll and Hyde. Again, I know Jekyll and Hyde. I've seen 1,000 different adaptations of it. I've seen The Nutty Professor and The Nutty Professor and The Nutty Professor, and there's so many different versions of that story, and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and probably 1,000 Bugs Bunny versions of it as well. And so, like, I'm infinitely familiar with that story, but actually going back and reading the original, where it's not expected that the viewer, the listener, the reader, whatever, knows the story from start to finish, it's really interesting. And kind of my big takeaway from it that I enjoyed the most was, I've completely blanked on the author's name, Robert Louis Stevenson. Thank you. Was his descriptions, like just the good grief, the
atmosphere,
the way he captures the atmosphere of just pea soup London, just it's so wonderfully gothic. It's so just like foggy and dark and tactile, and it's so good. And honestly, I find it's kind of missing from a number of the other stories that we've read from contemporaries. Like not every author wrote in the same way, and some were just like, here's a man, he was called John, he invented the thing, and he goes and does the thing, and he goes to a place, and here's now 1,000 facts about fish or sewer systems or whales.
I wonder who you're talking about here.
I mean, any one of them. And there's a lot of that. Or, hey, do you want to know train schedules and recipes? I'm your man. There's a lot of that. And then you've got someone like Stevenson just standing out in a completely different field, talking about the atmosphere and the presence and the place, and really getting into his descriptions of the setting.
And then you sort of work out why particular of these books are classics.
Yeah.
Same with Frankenstein. Like, you read the original and you go, oh, I get it now. And just whilst I remember, Stevenson, Kidnapped, Treasure Island, both of which we will have to read at some point, because it's Stevenson.
I'm trying to think what Treasure Island. I'm trying to think. Oh no, Treasure Island's fine. Yes. No, sorry, I'm thinking of other stuff. Who did Robinson Crusoe? Was that also Stevenson? I'm trying to think. There's.
Yeah, I think no. Was it?
Because I feel like somewhere
Robinson Crusoe is a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say there's going to be some racism landmines.
Daniel Defoe, of course.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Daniel Defoe. Yeah.
It's nautical pirate adventures, and so I always like.
Yes, you've got to be a bit careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you saying, reading, and everybody saying like reading stuff or listening to stuff that you wouldn't have otherwise read. I mean, for me, less so, just because I have read quite a lot of classic fiction.
Yeah.
But for me, the things that have really been interesting to read are the short stories. And I was realizing just how many short stories there are out there, and of those, how many are ghost stories.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, lots of ghost stories that we both know of.
Yeah.
Things from M.R. James, for example, and you just haven't got round to reading because you just know them.
Yeah.
And then you read them and you go, oh, okay, this is why you're like the preeminent ghost story writer. I get it.
This is why ghosts are depicted as hovering white sheets.
Yes, whistle, and I'll come to you, basically.
Yeah, like, oh, right, that's where that comes from. Neat.
Yeah. But it's interesting, being able to go through all of these authors and find the ones. It's basically us also sort of curating, this is a new one, we like this. Okay, like put that away of we'll read more of this person at a later date kind of thing. So and interesting as well seeing what you guys like. Because there are certainly some, especially short stories, that I have read that I've gone, it's all right, it's not great. And it's interesting to see whether you guys have a different reaction or not. Because again, just being able to experience something new with everyone is always fun, and also being able to experience something new that might be new to us or one of us, and then people in chat go, oh, I love this. Is also good. So
I was going to say on ghost stories as well. On ghost stories, like learning for myself at least, that there is in fact a distinction between ghost stories and horror stories, because for me that journey began with, we're coming into October, coming into Halloween month, Spooktober, so we're going to have to go look up some spooky stories. Of course, let's go looking for some classic horror stories. These are all ghost stories that everyone wrote in the time periods that we're looking. Okay, well, ghost stories, those are horror stories, right? Yeah, let's dig out some of those. And then realising that there are certainly some, like again from the M.R. James ones, that do deal with horrifying elements. And there are stories of horrifying ghosts and people being murdered and spooky goings on and stuff like that. But they're not one and the same. Ghost stories can be horror stories and horror stories can be ghost stories, but they're not. They're not a perfect circle. There's an intersection on that Venn diagram, and you get ones that are just sad ghost stories.
Or funny ghost stories.
Yeah, and it's like, that's actually it's neat to discover ghost stories as its own genre, and then within that there's all the different kind of subsets of what type of ghost story have we got. Oh, we've got a spooky one now. Cool, chill me, and that's again been a learning experience. And I just wonder what my old English lit teachers would make of me doing this. They're like, I know, mate, we tried to tell you for years, we tried to teach you this, and you just sat there going, no, I'm not interested. Just give me some more laser ships. Okay, cool. So
but basically we really enjoy this, and we're glad you guys do too. And it's it's really nice having seen the channel grow, because it has grown. And it's nice to see. I think the thing that we love the most is seeing the same names crop up in chat, and knowing you're all enjoying yourselves and you're coming back for more, and you want to hang out. Basically, it's just like, we're actually fostering our own little community. And because we don't have like a hub, like a Discord or something like that, we've mentioned it. We don't know whether it's something that we'll necessarily do, because obviously we're being moderators on other Discord stuff. It's not necessarily something we want to have to deal with as well, because Discord moderation is a nightmare. But the fact that we have this little community that even without that central hub can come here, and this is kind of our central hub, and I mean, it's just really nice.
I don't think it's like revealing much information, but because it's been asked and we've agreed to do it. It's just kind of me. I just actually need to kind of get up and make the threads for it on the Longest John's Discord. There's been a number of requests for a reading, well, like a little book club channel, and it's going to happen. It just kind of needs me to just actually enable it and set it up. It's kind of all planned out and just really needs to be activated and stuff. So it really is. It is entirely my fault that it hasn't happened yet, is essentially what I'm getting at. But yeah, I've often kind of thought that essentially if we were to run a Discord for this, it would really just feel like a little kind of Longest John's treehouse and Longest John's community treehouse, which that would feel kind of redundant to me. So I wouldn't want to do that and make people feel like they've just got to add another Discord to the list to follow. But I've always felt that if we were to have that like dedicated book club reading space on John's Cord.
Could be sponsored by us.
Yes, with no
In
money
partnership with
exchange.
Chilliteratea. No, in partnership with Chilliteratea. Let's say that.
But yeah, that's essentially what that would feel like to me. Not to say that we would like take it over and run it and be like, okay, we're going to administrate this and here's what we're doing and reading each week, but just, excuse me,
just putting it out there, just like this is what we're currently reading on Chilliteratea. If anyone wants to, have a look.
So just in partnership with, I guess, as a kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's not owned by, not run by, not responsible for, but hello, you might know us
but
from,
also,
and we're here, that kind of thing.
But also, we don't want to be cliquey in that we are just like our only community as long as John's community kind of thing, because obviously we want to appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, if anyone knows of anyone else that they know who might be interested in this kind of thing, just let them know. Because
it's like think like Chilliteracy Embassy, you know. Let's it's like, hello, we're here. It'd be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's when is it going to be? It's going to be 2 years in August.
I need to check my emails to see when we first.
I think it's August. I think that's when we started it.
Probably it was end of summertime.
Summertime.
What's going to be the best way for me to search my emails and find?
I mean, you don't have to do it right now.
I do.
But also, I was going to say I like the idea also of you guys in chat having a bit more of a say in which book, like which long book we read next. So whenever Sam finishes Dracula, like maybe the week before, I might put like a poll somewhere, maybe on, or maybe just like get Sam to do a tweet or something of that you guys can choose which of these 2 books you would prefer for me to read, because that seems like also a nice way for you guys to have a bit of a choice in stuff. But yeah, we will still be reading stuff that you probably won't have heard of, because we've still got Mammoth Book of Sea Stories to get through, which have been really good. I've actually really enjoyed these ones so far. There have been some good sea stories in here. I particularly enjoyed the last one that I read, which was just the sassiest story about a woman who was a bit of a organizer, perfectionist. I don't know. But you really don't have to keep searching.
Okay, I will stop. Damn it.
Well, we'll know when it comes around again anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, we won't. We'll need to look it up.
Celebrate. Well, yes, but we can do that off stream.
No. I was going to say, well, you talking about your Mammoth Book of Sea Stories. I put these on my desk because these were presents to me from Lucy for Christmas.
Oh gosh, yes.
American short stories and English short stories, and they're so pretty.
They are folio editions, second hand, because we try and buy all our books second hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are very nice.
They're not all going to be public domain, but there's definitely going to be some in here that are, and they're so pretty.
They are very nice. Yeah, I need to take you to that bookshop actually. There are so many folio editions in there; it's quite ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
it is
Winkle, which I think I have elsewhere.
Yeah. It is one of those bookshops that it feels like the owner of the bookshop doesn't want you to actually be there.
Yeah.
The proper second-hand bookshop.
Very black
kind
books.
Of feel.
Oh,
very black books, yeah.
John Steinbeck, nice.
Grapes of Wrath.
No, The Snake.
Well, yes, but fine.
Yeah.
I haven't actually read any Steinbeck.
No, not me.
I'm always quite wary of American authors.
Yeah.
Just because I know there are lots of problems with British authors as well.
Oh yeah.
But it feels like British authors show their hand a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Whereas for a lot of like American authors, I don't know, it just feels like you sort of get halfway through and there's like, oh no, racism. Whereas the British ones is just like racism from the get go, and it's like, oh okay, no.
Oh cool. You're just gonna describe other people like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very Aziraphale bookshop. Exactly. Which, yes, Sam won't get because has not read or watched Good Omens.
Good Omens.
Both of which shut up. You must watch. You would very much like, and also read. You would very much like.
Oh yeah.
Stacks and stacks of books everywhere. Unclear whether there was actually a human in there. That's It's more subtle until a bit later, and then slam problematic stuff. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And both of them equally casual with it, just like this is just a normal way to refer to another human, because their skin's different to ours, or they come from an uncivilized land. It's like, could you not? But yeah,
pretty sure some of the book stacks were in fact low bearing. Probably. Mm-hmm. Books are pretty supportive.
I have never.
And Sam has never read Good Omens. Yeah. It's all right. I'll make him eventually.
This is why I've never seen The Godfather.
Yeah. Or in my case, never seen 2001: Space Odyssey, which I keep on getting. You haven't seen it? Yes, I told you. Not from
again,
you.
No, I was going to say again. Like, to me, it feels like it's a good capital G film, capital F, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's an entertaining film. And
it's like classic fiction. It's like, you haven't read this book, and you read it and you're like, read it now.
It's like, I can see why this influenced everything else at the time, but we've done a lot more interesting stuff based on the ideas since.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's why it's like, the Chris Nolan fan watching Interstellar, wow, this is amazing. Or the hardcore, serious, critical film snobs watching it going, oh, this is very silly, it's all about love. Love is not a scientifically measurable equation, you can't just do that. And so I'm just going to go and watch 2001 instead. Cool, okay, great. But basically, to me, it's a film that took concepts and ideas within 2001 and repackaged them for a modern audience. And, it's a good film. And, 2001 is a very, very good, very rightfully influential film that when I watched when I was much younger, I was bored as hell by. I think I probably fell asleep in it because I was a teenager and it was sci-fi, and it's a classic sci-fi, and it's so good, and it's like it's in space and there's aliens doing weird things. Like, oh, hell yeah. And you watch it and it's just, why is this one man stuck on a spaceship with a robot computer that's controlling it and wants to kill him? Like, of course the AI is evil. It's trying to that's a scientific trope that we've established for the last 50 years, that the AI on the ship is trying to kill you because it's got a morally to itself justifiable reason to do so. Of course. Oh, this is where that comes from. Oh, okay, cool. And so, that's why, and like Blade Runner as well, original Blade Runner, it's like a very, very good film. Again, rightfully influential of everything that followed it. Great. It's not in itself necessarily the most thrilling film, and this isn't to say I don't think you will enjoy an intellectually stimulating film, but you've got to be in the right mood for it. And oh, and cheer salad. I know. I know I wasn't being shamed.
No, also no one is a bad reader.
No
bad readers don't exist. You either read or you don't read, and if you read, you're a good reader just because you read. If you don't read, you're not a bad reader.
And to clarify as well, for all definitions of reading, however you choose to experience whether consuming
the literature,
which is a discussion that I kind of encountered on Twitter a few months back about
what?
Well, about
someone saying they've read a book and it's an audiobook.
Well, no, and that's the thing. That is completely fine to me. But literally about the verb definition of reading.
Oh, of reading.
And like for me personally, like I
do not literally consume the literature.
To me, and I don't think it's me being any kind of purist or snob or gatekeeping or anything like that. But to me, like there is fundamentally no difference. Like no difference, no judgment in whether someone has read a book by like literally reading the words off a page with their eyes, like consuming a book with their eyes, reading the words and ingesting it that way, or listening to it through as an audiobook. Like that is that is not to say one is more noble or pure than the other. They are both completely valid ways to experience a book. To me personally, I have a slight hang up on literally saying like
read. Reading is viewing with your eye as words on a page.
Yeah, and again, this is no way to discriminate or gatekeep. Gatekeep. Okay, we'll define that in a bit. To say that, yeah, because this is what we do. We read these books and people listen to them and have, again, read, in a sense, consumed, experienced that book, and that is no less valid than anything else. But it is literally in the verb definition of to read. And kind of the counter argument was that writing, if someone has typed a book using a typewriter or a word processor on a computer, would you say that they have written? When really the pure definition should be that it has been written with a pen on a piece of paper. And
well, yes, because you're still creating letters.
Yeah, and that's my opinion. It's like, well, no, they're different things.
It's still printing a thing on a page.
Yeah, it's
whether that be handwritten or
that is sure. It's deviated from the pure original dictionary definition, but it is still.
It still means the same thing.
The result is still the same, but when literally the point of ingestion is different, no less valid. I'm going to keep repeating it because literally there were people in this Twitter thread, because it's Twitter, going, actually that's ableist to say that it's not the same. It's like it doesn't. And if I'm wrong, please point it out and correct me.
It does. Yeah, I mean, it's not saying one's better than the other. It's just saying that it's slightly different.
And are audiobooks reading? Yes. Like for in terms of the outcome and the results, yes, absolutely. So glad you're not on Twitter. People really do fuss over nothing. Yeah. Even me.
Andy Pants makes a good point. No, by the only looking words on the page definition, no blind person has ever read a book. That's true, but also that is still kind of like that. They're still.
But I feel
I don't know. That's an interesting one because they're still sort of interacting with something that is on a page.
I guess. And that is absolutely a good and valid point, and it's making me stop and think. But I guess the point, the thing that makes me think is, does that matter? Like this isn't me trying to speak for or over anyone who is blind or partially sighted. Again, I absolutely mean no disrespect. And if I am being disrespectful, again, I don't want to be.
We apologise.
It's like I don't know. Like, is that a problem? I'm not saying you haven't read this book, but I guess it's kind of you've not. Well,
it's just a bit confusing, really.
I guess it's
we need a better verb, really.
It's semantics and it's pedantry. Yeah, and that's why I'm using words like consume because
have you consumed this book? No.
It's. Well, and I say I don't even necessarily want to account for Braille. It's literally the whether you are ingesting the book by looking at the words on a page and reading and interpreting that way, or whether it comes in via your ears, and you are it's an auditory process. And to me, I feel like purely for the purpose of pedantry, I appreciate a distinction between the two, and it isn't to say that one is that one is different. Well, that they are different, but one is no less valid than the other. However you experience a book is great, and good and valid and equal. Words and sentences change and expand over time. This brings us back around to the earlier conversation, of course.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the ultimate point that I want to stress. Like one is no less valid than the other, and if someone who does listen to audiobooks says to me, "Oh, I've read that," I'm not going to correct them because firstly, who am I to correct anyone? That's me saying that I'm right and you're wrong. That's not the case. It is purely for me. if I were to say that, I would want, in talking about myself, I would put a distinction in there to say, like, whether I have read it with my eyes or read it with my ears, basically, is where I'm coming from. And so, yeah, that's me pulling the subject onto that. And again, I may be wrong. I probably am. But yeah.
It's an interesting discussion. It's also very interesting because audiobooks kind of because if you think about reading stories out loud, not reading stories out loud, sorry, telling stories out loud, that you just make up. That's storytelling. That's a different thing. But I guess you say you listen to a story in that regard, and like radio and stuff, you even in like a dramatization of a book, that is a dramatization that you listen to, rather than read. But I mean, again, I'm a musician. Listening to music is a much better way of consuming music than, for example, reading a score.
And that's
so
I think that's kind of getting down to where I'm coming from. That it's the difference between like listening to a song as it is being performed through over Spotify, naming the bad ones, or Bandcamp, naming the good ones. Listening to a song like that, or going and reading the original sheet music. They are two fundamentally different experiences. To someone who can understand and interpret both, the result might be similar, if not the same.
No, it's different.
But but they are
for the point we're making. Let's say they're the same, but it is fundamentally a different thing than reading a book and listening to a book.
And again, this is not to discriminate or gatekeep and say that one is less valid than the other. But it's I don't know. I guess on one level, it's like saying I walked to the shops when I got in the car and drove. The end result is the same. I still got to the shops. But the method by which I got there is a different method of conveyance. And that's why you might say, I went to the shops, that's fine, that could cover both. But if you say walks, that has a specific meaning. And
what Andy's saying there. Saw somebody on Twitter pointing out a while back that until very recently in human history, even for written literature, the norm was for most people was being read to communally. Silent independent reading is very new. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, because again, it feels like very much I mean, I might be wrong, but it feels like another thing that the Victorians have done. Thank you, Victorians, for being the whole idea of sitting down with a book and reading on your own is the proper way to ingest a story or whatever. When actually, that is a much newer form of storytelling.
Got some cat sneezes again.
Oh,
you're right, buddy.
Bless him. So it's just, but also we never really feel like we never really settled on a kind of I heard a story recently as an actual, like, I heard a book recently. You don't really say it's weird, basically weird. Comparing reading versus hearing music to a story is completely very different. I would agree with that, but for the point we're making, I suppose it kind of it's an analogy that can be made. But anyway, we've been going on for like 2.5 hours, so we should probably stop. And let you lovely people go and do whatever it is you're gonna do with the rest of your day. You consumed some content, TM, recently. There you go.
Oh no.
That is the new correct phrase.
Welcome to the internet.
Has to use.
Yeah.
So talk about eating books for the chaos value. I mean, I literally do that. I literally say I have been known to say I ate my way through a book recently.
I thought you meant I literally do that as in...
Oh, I literally eat books, yeah. Paper.
Literally, figuratively eat books.
Yeah. No, as in I literally say that I eat books.
Yeah.
Often. Content, the worst word of the modern world. Oh, yeah. We hate it. Mm-hmm. But yes, are we going to... Do we want to raid anyone? Is there anyone to raid? Anyone on? Stephen? There's also LRR.
Control Horses.
Stephen is doing something.
Oh, Hi-Fi Rush. Neat. It's a rhythm action game.
Oh, fun.
It's a sort of third person.
ink is just such good spice. Nice.
My favourite. Yeah, it's
Tasty.
a sort of third-person beat-em-up game made by Japanese studio Tango Gameworks, I want to say. Did like
Oh.
a couple other games, Evil Within and the recent Ghostwire Tokyo. They kind of like just stealth released it the other day. Just like bam, here's a game that's come out. It's very very anime. It's on Game Pass. I actually played it the other day and it's very funny. I enjoyed it, although I'm kind of not the best at rhythm games. But yeah, the combat's like it's like rhythm based combat, which is kind of cool. One problem is it's got a really great licensed soundtrack. So when you're playing it on Twitch, you have to turn on
Can't do it.
stream safe mode, which means you get all the unlicensed, the like free to use music instead. Some of which still seems very good, but when you've got like the Prodigy and Nine Inch Nails and I think Black Keys and stuff on the soundtrack, it's like no, I want to be jamming out to that.
Well, the good stuff. But should we raid Stephen?
Yeah, why not? Shall I?
Let's go say hi to Stephen. Everybody, go say hi to Stephen. Stephen is great.
Yeah.
I'm sure you all know Stephen by this point.
For real, that is indeed on the soundtrack still. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Because we often raid Stephen on Wednesdays, I think.
Yeah.
Is it Wednesdays we also raid? Yeah.
Yeah.
So go say hi.
I'll get that started now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, and so you're like that's the soundtrack, and you're fighting and like doing your attacks and combos and stuff in time to the music. I'm just really bad at learning combos, and so learning those and then having to execute them with a rhythmic style is I struggle.
Yeah.
I just kind of get into it and start button mashing instead. So yeah, but yeah, thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Yes. And we will be back on Wednesday with more short stories.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much. We will see you then. But for now, goodbye from me.
Yeah. And from me.
Bye.
Bye.